have a few little housekeeping things to go through first. First, some introductions and some acknowledgements. I am Jennifer Rood. This year I am the OPA president, and I will be emceeing tonight. By my side and helping to also make this event possible are Sue Lick, who is our OPA vice president this year, and Rana Tahir, who is our treasurer and technical whiz extraordinaire. I want to give a big acknowledgement and thank you to Dale Champlin for being our publications expert and for the just beautifully putting together our publications. And yes, they're always beautiful. And Dale, we couldn't do this without you. And so
thank you.
Yes, no, you are so central to what we do here, which is to promote. I mean, one of our missions is to promote Oregon poets and poetry, and you help make that happen in a serious way. I know you put hours and hours and hours into our showpieces. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh. All right. I do want to also mention that there were other board members. This Verseweavers 2019 came from a previous board. And so thanks to those board members also who contributed. This is a group effort, and we are a working board. We work together to put this all together with the help of some volunteers. And anyway, it is a pleasure, like Shirley was saying earlier, it's a pleasure to work in this community. All right, so those are introductions and thank yous. We do have a few announcements, and I believe that Rana is putting some links up. Has she already done that? I'm not checking chat. Okay. Links up in our chat to a number of things. So first of all, Verseweavers is available for purchase through our store, and there is a link for that. We also have our spring contest in progress right now. It is open until Wednesday at midnight. That's March 31st. And so I encourage you, if you have not already entered, to give the categories a look and go ahead and throw your hat in the ring. Maybe you will be, again, part of a future Verseweavers. All right. Let's see. The next thing, oh, yes?
And the Pandemic Anthology.
Yes, that's next on my list. Thank you, Sue. All right. Pandemic 2020. This is available for $25 through our store, through Submittable, and it's currently at Broadway Books in Northeast Portland, and hopefully soon in many other bookstores. The readings are still being organized. We do have a couple of dates you can reserve. One is April 8th. The Salem Poetry Project and Mark Jansen is going to be hosting Salem area readers, and Salem area poets who were published in this, who will be featuring their pandemic poems. I'm in Southern Oregon, and because I'm just connected here more easily than other regions, I've got the Southern Oregon region set for April 20th. And then we are working on the other readings, scheduling those. But April is our pandemic celebration month. That may sound wrong. Pandemic celebration sounds wrong. So it's the publication of our Pandemic Anthology Celebration Month. We can look forward in May to some workshops, but we were so full up with launching Verseweavers this month, Pandemic next month with multiple readings, that we just couldn't fit anything else in this month. So enjoy other workshops from other organizations. certainly for National Poetry Month, but come back to us for May, because we'll have some workshops ready for you. So lots going on this spring. All right. You can check me, Sue. Did I forget anything I really need to mention? Think I got it?
Just sign up for the open mic.
Oh, are we going to do that the same way we did the first night?
Think so.
Okay, so thank you. We have a Google Doc set up, and that should be in chat right now. And if you would like to read after the poets who are featured tonight present their poems, there's the link right now. You can go to the Google Doc and just put your name there, and we'll just go in order of the people who sign up. So let me go over the format of the night then, and then we can get started. So the format is that we are going to have our 11 readers read. I'll introduce the reader briefly, just by name, and a little bit of a judge's comment about their poem. You are free as a reader then to say a little bit about your poem, a little bit of an introduction if you want to. If you want to just launch into the poem and read, because that's how you do it, you are welcome to do that too. It's your show. And then we'll move on. We have 11 poets. We'll take just like a brief kind of get up and stretch break for 2 or 3 minutes before we start the open mic part after our 11 readers. And for open mic, you can read for up to 5 minutes, and I will keep time. So whatever number of poems you would like to read, just make sure that they're going to fit in that 5 minutes. And everybody respected that last time. There's no problem usually. But oh my gosh, it was lovely last time too. I guess I can't continue to talk about last time because we're going to create our own magic this time. So I think we are ready to go. We're going to go in order as our readers tonight appear. You can see I've got stuff all marked, but I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And our first reader is, let me make sure, maybe double check. It's like Melly Broderick Eaton. And the poem is called Falling Stars. It was the New Poets first place winner. And the judge, Stella Baratlis, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the judge's name, Baratlis, said that I was looking for work in which language was deployed in fresh, meaningful ways, where images, metaphors, or tone were thoughtfully developed. I was taken to many poetic worlds. In all the poetic countries I visited, I had the opportunity to encounter new signposts and guides to help me navigate the emotional landscape we all inhabit. All right, so Melly Broderick Eaton, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for continuing to do what you do so well. I don't know about everybody else, but poetry is really what's kept my soul intact through all of this last year. So thank you, thank you. This is my poem, Falling Stars. Right there in the hidden chambers of your heart, I was born before I was born, where your muscles squeezed with apprehension, where your pulse drummed, its anticipation, and you knew me before you knew me. When you called for my light to paint a new trail in your sky, I fell from stars, fell into the arms of a family tree, the same way you fell into yours and yours became mine. We fell from the heavens to roots threaded deep in the soil of our grandfathers, where decay becomes riches and we rise as trembling sprouts clasped fast to woody anchors. Now, the coins of your limbs have spidered and dropped into rusting twilight, and I see the door you will leave through there. I will stay, and the rhythms of my blood will wave goodbye. Letters on our shared strands, forming the words my mouth cannot. We will remember each other in the way we best understood. Me sleeping on pillow cheek, tiny bubbles at my suckle mouth. You staring at ghosts in the flashes of an early morning fire, relaxed in the quiet, wilding dreams of your domesticated heart as you untangle your branches and stir the sparks, warming the house. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. That brought a few tears. Oh my gosh. I love this. It's hard to MC and also be moved, but thank you for that. All right. Our next poet is Michael G. Smith, and his poem was a second place winner in the themed category of climate. Our judge, Nancy Carroll Moody, said, "Assemblage, the Anthropocene successfully employs the device of a visual artwork, the assemblage of the title, to imagine a geographical reality in urgently enjammed and insistent language." So it's my pleasure to introduce Michael G. Smith.
Hi there. Hello. So, yeah, I'm the green icon.
Yes, you're coming through much clearer.
Yes. Assemblage, the Anthropocene. Assemblage, a work of art made by grouping found or unrelated objects. What is entangled? Greenland and its millennia compressed ice sheet, 3 times more expansive than Texas, 2 miles thick at its thickest. Bangladesh and its young millions living lives at typhoon-fearing sea level. The sun hasn't ramped up its radiative output. Still, many century-old blue ice melts and dumps chill liquid water into the ocean. This is a responsive act within Earth's surrogate dot canvas, or sole human stimuli. One act play, like this. We are college freshmen let loose in the dorm, hooked on carbon drugs. Jail time to pay. Execution a possibility. Psychologists saying, most can't see beyond tomorrow. It is not the ocean's habit to stop circulating warm waters, but unchill and chill different things, and circulations change. Pole to pole migrating numbers down by 75%. Rufous red knot, now threatened. Smell the endangered fire in the approaching distance? Hunger challenged. Sustenance needed mussels and mid-Atlantic 400 million year old spawning horseshoe crabs along the pole-to-pole journey. Shells dissolving. Roll vanishing off the tongue. Notice Earth's cafes, just disjointed art is co-joined. What can unravels in the blink of a geologic eye? Atmosphere and waters. The air becoming oh so comfortable in its new warm skin. The seas becoming oh so caressing with rising carbonic acid levels. Their dissolving waters piling higher and higher. Uncommon, becoming common floods hitched together with the red knots that were. I having been given, permitted 40 lines like ladder rungs above rising sea levels to attempt a bit of saving. The poles, SOS in this age of extra-large gas tanks, overflowing shopping carts and long lines in superstores, never full carts in internet shops. Who thinks of walking empty-handed everywhere, hands open in greeting, mouths spreading conservation? This a calling out, only one character word, will suffice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I don't, you guys are probably all aware that the modern age is being called by many scientists the Anthropocene. It's like the age of humans, and that we will possibly be contributing to our own undoing of our own age. You covered so much in that poem. There's a lot going on, though.
There's a lot going on with climate change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. It is the collage, right? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and move to our third reader, who is David Hedges, the illustrious. This one in members only first place, or in the members only category, won first place. And the judge said that so many fine poems were submitted that ultimately I was hard pressed to rank the winners, but I awarded first place to You Never Can Replace a Dog You Love. The poem expresses a heartfelt, universal sentiment about people's love of dogs in a seamless, fluidly rhymed villanelle, and I'm not a dog person. Anyone who has tried to execute this challenging form will appreciate the poet's mastery. And that was Judge Leah Stinson. So, David, you have the floor. You're still muted, though. David, you're still muted. We need you to unmute.
Ah.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. You never can replace a dog you love. And this is for Dougal. Dougal was a superstar in my life, and he did all the work in winning his championship with a 5-point major. And if you do dog shows, you know how important. I mean, that's a big deal. I was just along for the ride, but he and I just, whew. You never can replace a dog you love. It doesn't matter, purebred, mongrel, stray, who fits your disposition hand in glove. You find your mind is part and parcel of the one who teaches you to skip and play. You never can replace a dog you love whose love is unconditional, above the fray, the one the photographs portray, who fits your disposition hand in glove. Grief is a rock, a spear, a hawk, a dove, drops of vermilion, indigo, and gray. You never can replace a dog you love. You try to keep yourself from thinking of the mind behind those eyes, the quirks, the way they fit your disposition, hand in glove. You let time pass, push comes to shove. Though you may love another dog one day, you never can replace the dog you love who fit your disposition, hand in glove.
Oh, David, thank you. I'm afraid there's going to be some tears tonight. Thank you.
Catherine.
That's beautiful. Yes.
I think, and hopefully he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Michael just dialed in.
Okay. Michael, do we have you back tonight? And this is a members only winner, second place. Amy Baskin the poem here is the one that in the Verseweavers book here follows David Hedges. And so the judge was commenting about David's and then moved into, hey, this one was a difficult poem to write too. So the judge, Leah Stenson, says about this poem, as difficult as it is to write a successful villanelle, it's equally difficult to write a poem about the moon that doesn't seem trite or dated. To the moon after the blood red moon succeeds with compelling imagery and allusion to waning adoration and love gone cold. So, Amy.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Leah, for choosing my poem. And it's an honor to follow after David's. I loved his villanelle. I love his villanelle so much. It's beautiful. And to be with all of you in this company, it's such a delight. So thank you all. I wrote this poem in, I think, around January of 2019. There was a blood red moon, a blood moon. And a blood moon is, it's when the sun and the earth fall and the full moon are perfectly in alignment with each other. And I was thinking that night when I was looking at it, that a big deal was being made of it, and that was beautiful. It really was. But then I felt sorry for the moon when she wasn't so pink and blush. And that led me to think about, the older I get, the more I'm aware of a certain misalignment with a type of attention that was once more common. So that's what I was writing about. And here goes. To the moon after the blood red moon, with the epigraph, you are a body of blood made beautiful, and Sexton. Still, I see you, cold and barren, tucked behind a cloud that even now is leaving you alone. The fickle skies move quickly. We jerk our heads, crane our necks at the next flushed body. We ask, have you seen? Have you seen? And then we gape at something else fecund that gains the weight of our flighty attention. Pursed and thinned, cratered and pocked, crust wrinkled, your powdered surface blemished by footprints impressed upon you, mounted and dismounted time and time again. I feel your endless surge. From me, you pull your fast flood of affection. Last month, you were a ripe, luminous, sexed cherry, petals engorged, staining the earth with enthusiasm. Tonight, drained, thin, and still, I see you, alone, sister. Mouth agape, silent scream in a vacuum, sullen from the wiles of love, the heat and cool of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never read a moon poem like that. And I identify as well.
There are many of us pockmarked moons.
Right. Oh my gosh. It's good to be this age. I'm enjoying my age, but I get it too. All right. Our next poet is Nancy Christopherson, and again, members only. And this one is the third place winner. The judge said, so Leah Stenson, the judge, said, in third place is Here a Small Rain. This meditative poem with haiku-esque sentiments leads the reader to a philosophical contemplation of the opening line. Joy requires a lot of hard work. Considerable skill is required to craft a poem so seemingly simple on the surface, but one that moves with surprising leaps into deceptively deep terrain. So Nancy Christopherson.
Hi, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you everyone for having us here tonight. It's beautiful. An old man once told me that if I watched animals long enough, I might learn something. He was right. Hear a small rain. Joy requires a lot of hard work. We must be willing to stand near the fence as horses do. Stand there and say, love, not with our mouths, with our full bodies, heavy manes and tails, and not bite. Otherwise, what? The battles rage on. So tired of that. Hear now this small soaking rain. Misty droplets huddled along railings, then spilling down. And us, nascent, wet again. Old, ancient water. It took everything to get here.
Thank you, thank you. It reminds me of the E.E. Cummings line about not even the rain has such small hands. I don't know if you were maybe thinking about that at some point. But yeah, how big small rain can be. It could be everything. Took everything to get here. It renews us. Thank you so much, Nancy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, all right. We are up to our 6th poet reader tonight, and that is Quinn Miller, who in the new poets category won 1st place, and it was for the poem Mercy. The judge, Stephanie Adams Santos, said in reading this year's batch of poems, I was stirred with how throughout the whole of these poems resounds a clear and overarching note of loss. And so again, I think we have a theme tonight. I wish I could sit with each of these writers and read their tea leaves, hear their stories, read more of their work. It's an honor to receive these voices and a blessing to know they are in the world. And then we have 2 poems that the judge wrote those things about. So the first will be Quinn Miller and Mercy.
Good evening,
Quinn?
everyone. Hi, thank you so much.
Hi.
I'd like to echo everyone else's comments and thank all the volunteers for putting this together and inviting me. I have been writing poems for many years, but I never pursued publication before. And then on a whim, I entered the 2019 OPA contest, and to my great astonishment, my poem was picked. It was really a thrill and very validating and motivating. So thanks for that. And here's the poem. It's called Mercy. Beyond the reach of morning roots, where the land is thirsty and quiet, a mountain leaves its shadow on the road of sharp turns. Around the bend, the scenery grows stark and more familiar as I brace myself for the landmark up ahead. If I don't look away, I'll see the turnoff to that distant light gone dark, marking the house where she died. Lightning strikes a wilderness inside, and in the flash, emotions run like frightened deer. It's 40 miles to Merced. I tried to find another route, but never could. Thank you.
Thank you, Quinn. I'm I'm looking at the Quinn Miller has been writing poetry since his father handed him a worn copy of A Coney Island of the Mind in the 80s. I love that little tidbit. Yeah, Quinn, I look forward to more from you. Just like our judge said. So Nadine Fiedler is our, did I say your last name right?
Beautifully.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So welcome, Nadine.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you. I will just hand it over to you and let you introduce your poem and read.
Great, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be part of this and was really excited to have my poem accepted. It's a poem about tough stuff. It's called The Bull. On top of his dresser, a hollow ceramic bull held what was in his pockets at night. The bull eternally charged forward, headed towards the closet with the pornography inside. The sounds of the coins he threw into the bull felt angry to me, felt as if he were trying to defy his daily existence, one in which he was trivial. To become the bull ruling over the herd of women who surrounded him, he snorted, he mounted, he gored, heedless of consequences, broken girls strewn behind. No one could stop him in his quest to conquer. The bull, long gone. He is long gone. Reduced in his last years to a frail, obsessed nothing. Forced to flee, hated by the cows, cursed by the cows, driven off, running across the fields, uselessly roaring. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's move now to traditional form. The contest category was blank verse, and the judge was John Morrison, who had this to say about Carolyn Martin's The Prince first anniversary. He said, the savvy voice and the strong yet subtle meter really served this satisfying poem. The poem trusts the meter not to be a stricture, but to lead where it will. In addition, sharp images help propel the narrative. As a reader, while I was never sure where I was headed, I was absolutely along for the adventure. So, Carolyn.
Thanks, Jennifer, and thanks everybody for being here tonight. Back in 1982, when I was still a very young poet, I wrote a poem called Cinderella, first anniversary. And I was wondering about that happily ever after ending of fairy tales. Well, as I started to write this poem, I realized that you could take the girl out of the kitchen, but you couldn't take the kitchen out of the girl. And so on that first anniversary, there is no happily ever after. Now, it only took me to 2019 to realize that there was somebody else sharing that anniversary, and that her husband, the prince, finally needed to have his say, and where he was a year after the glass slippers found those feet. So that's the impetus behind the Prince, the first anniversary. It's written in iambic pentameter, and it's in the voice of the prince. The Prince, first anniversary. She will not let it go. Her narrative about shape-shifting steeds and bullying step relatives. I've begged her to delete the past and recompose her life. I can't. She turns her back on me. Not now, not yet. The fact is, she electrified that night. The metaphor of lightning strikes, they pale. Only later did I see raw skin hiding up her sleeves and relentless darting eyes. They intimated there was work to do. And heaven knows how hard I tried. I block her charging down the stairs to get the door. I squeeze her hand beneath the tablecloth so she won't clear the plates. I beg her not to polish silverware or bow to maids. You embarrass me, she fires back and claims I live in rampant idleness. I hold her eyes with mine and wonder where she lives. Each morning, when she sneaks out of our bed to stoke a fire or check deliveries, I ransack every room. I need to find those glass-blown shoes that sealed our wedding vows. She's hidden them like secrets that can't bear to face themselves. I'll walk them door to door through every street of nearby neighborhoods. Perhaps they were designed for someone else.
Wow. That prince. It's like, I don't know about him. That's a powerful last line. Wow. I love that, where it led. All right. Thank you so much. These are delightful and sad. And all right. Now we go to another blank verse poem by Susan Morse. This is called Elegy for Hands. And here is what John Morrison, the judge, had to say about this. In this remarkable poem of extended metaphor, my sense is the meter is less underlying music than a guardrail to keep this frenetic voice from howling off into the darkness. That tension of seeing if the voice can be kept in check is a dramatic high wire act. There's a lively energy here and a sure confidence that the prosody will deliver the poem to its destination. All right. And so, Susan.
Yes, thank you for hosting this OPA. It's really nice to be here. And this poem I wrote, oh gosh, over 20 years ago, and it was over 3 pages long. So it's been revised a long, long time, for a lot of years. And I guess I really think hands, you can tell a lot about people from their hands. They're very expressive. So that's how the poem kind of came into being. Okay, Elegy for Hands. My hands are like a tree. Cut them open, expose the rings. Take notice, I tell you. Cupped upon my fingers, 10 moons, each one unique with its own spots, mapped with imprints of this world, whole histories carved within. My left hand, the sluggard, unlearned, the right, ambitious, pimp to my indiscretions. In both my hands lives a whole city street, the naysayers and doers, begging hands, sad mimes juggling shadows upon the wall. Come hither, hands, with fingers traveling. Like magicians, my fingers talk, wag tongues, harbor the stinging slights of others. These are angry hands that scoff at goodbyes, sign in silence, wishing for a last kiss. Hands that feel coldness in an empty house, recoil from the bitter breath of regrets. In the brown bark of my hands, a parchment of thin blue veins remembers broken nails, doing dirty work, howling blue midnight. Prisons of caged fingers grasp at funnels of air. I shudder, find these hands empty at dawn, curled with sleepless fingers, cold weights. My hands are bare trees. Hold them, slice the roots, unfold the right, carrier of sorrows. Raise pale moons, untangle bitter fibers. In my left hand, plant your fragile green shoots. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. All right. We come now to a new category, and this category was a themed category. Our theme was our common life, and we have for our next reader, Susie Harris, with her poem Abatement. The judge, Tony Lumbrazo Luna, had this to say. I chose this poem for the writer's ability to use the common theme of home repair to take us into the gravity of children inhaling lead dust. This was an unexpected twist, and it gave the poem more depth and a higher purpose. One should be able to predict its weight from the title, but I was surprised, and I very much liked the surprise. So, Susie?
Thank you, Jennifer and Dale. Thank you for such a gorgeous book, and thanks to all the judges. Abatement. For those of you who have an old house, you're all too familiar with the term abatement, but it's a way of getting rid of lead out of old houses and other places, I suppose. Abatement. Against this 100-year house, ladders rise up from one story to the next, and the paint is scraped away bit by bit, exposing raw boards to the bright August sun. Men covered in white suits call back and forth like in a church, call and response. They build a chapel of blue tarps to catch all the shaved paint, catch and remove, and we pray the lead dust is not hanging in the air, burrowing into our children's lungs, sinking into the soil around the fig tree. Thank you.
Whoops, I apparently forgot to unmute. Thank you, Rana. All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate your reading, Susie, and yeah, hard to live in a 100-year-old house. I bet you have other 100-year-old house poems. Do you? Yeah, a house is such a strong thing. Metaphorically speaking, and an old house has a lot of stories. Huh? All right, thank you again. Our final reader tonight is Susie Striffler, and the poem is another winner in the themed category, Our Common Life. This poem is called Debris, and our judge had this to say. This poet captured a real moment in time between a grandmother and her grandchild. Who among us hasn't noticed how hands change as we age? And how do you explain these changes to a child without provoking confusion or dread? The answer is contained in their exchange, which, above all, is sweet and could be universal. All right, Stephanie? You have the floor.
Thank you. Thanks, OPA and Paul. And in case anyone is surprised that there's not hands in my poem, for some reason those judges' comments don't relate to my poem. So,
oh, that is the weirdest thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So anyway,
I did not pick up on that, but we look forward to your poem as it is written. Okay.
So my poem called Debris, I submitted with this theme because the background of it, as folks may recall, several years ago, there was an earthquake in Japan that caused a tsunami, and sometime later, the debris from that tsunami, some of it washed up on the Oregon shore. And it made me think about the ways in which in our common life, we all are called upon to attend to debris that's not of our own making. Susie's poem relates to that too, I think. So, debris. You and I pick our way through tsunami debris, claws of bare tree upended, tires, Harley Davidson soccer ball. The task has fallen to us, an ocean away, to fill bags with ragged styrofoam remnants, forever undegradable, oyster farm buoys stamped with undecipherable characters, carried from a disaster more than a year away. You can't say one word, face blank as sand expanse scrubbed raw by high tide. Just as once you burrowed into the couch in pajamas, a tiny sand crab, almost safe from waves of father rage, ashtray, teapot, phone book, flung overhead through decades of North Dakota snows, generations of silent Scottish chill crashed against the wall. How is it the task has fallen to me to reach for your hand as you hoist your weight over this Shinto shrine beam heaved by an earthquake the other side of the world? But after all, isn't it all one ocean?
Thank you very much, Stephanie. What a lovely place to end, too. We've been all over the place here, I think emotionally. So thank you for bringing us all together there, again, on a community note, right? Our common life. And that's one of the things I love about poetry readings is we do get to share in each other's lives and talents and perspectives and ideas. And anyway, so thank you all for sharing your poems with us tonight. We do have a second part of this evening, and that is our open mic.